So what agenda we decided for today?
IGST.
Yes. We have to do relevant portion under IGST Act 2017. Okay. And which are the main sections herein? 5, 6, 7, 8, and 16. These many sections we have to do. And out of those, 2 sections we can do immediately. Section 5, this is a replica of section 9 except for minor variation. Section 9 of CGST Act. Okay. And section 6, this is equivalent to section 11 of CGST Act. Almost wording is also same. Some minor variation here and there, otherwise everything remain same. Okay, so what do we have to really read? Section 7, section 8, and section 16. In those sections also, in section 7 and 8, you will understand what is the exact meaning of interstate supply and what is the exact meaning of intrastate supply. And section 16 talks about zero rated supply. Section 16 is about zero rated supply. Okay. So based on this information, directly I'm taking you to section 5. Now, do you remember what was there in section 9? I'm just reminding you.
Section 1 and 2 is about forward charge, sir. 3 and 4 is about reverse charge.
Right.
And subsection 5 is about e-commerce operator.
Very good. Very good. So section 9, those are, it is having 5 subsections. Okay. This is about charging, levy and collection. Okay. This is non-levy for the time being. This is RCM. This is RCM. This is e-commerce operator. So 5 subsections are there, right? Here what was said in charging portion, this is value under section 15. How the values to be determined for charging? As per section 15. And rate not exceeding
20%.
20%. 20%. Right? These were the main things. Everything else will remain same. Whatever change you are going to see, the change you will find only in this portion. This will become 40% for IGST. This is the only change. Okay. So rest of the section, no change at all. Only variation is that instead of 20, it becomes 40%. Okay. So here we have provisions of IGST. Now see, subsection 1, this is subject to provisions of subsection 2. Remember the explanation for this? In the subsection 2, we have diesel, petrol, crude oil, natural gas, etc., etc. So that is not subject to GST unless that is notified by the government. So that is the meaning of subject to provisions of subsection 2. There shall be levied a tax called as integrated goods and services tax on what? Interstate supply. In CGST, what was the wording? Intrastate supply. Here we have interstate supplies of goods or services of both, except supplies of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, on the value determined under Section 15 of the CGST Act, and at such rate not exceeding 40%. Okay. So another variation which you can note down is that one is this 40%, right? Another thing here you will write, this is on intrastate and under Section 5, this is interstate supply. So except that change, there is no other variation. Then why IGST chargeable on import?
Sir, because import is also treated as interstate supply.
Right. So for that, we have to understand definitions of interstate and intrastate under Section 7 and 8. Okay. So just giving you reference what so that you can connect the things. So charging section, what is the charging section under IGST? Under which section this is levied?
Section
Right.
5,
Section 5 of
IGST Act 2000.
IGST Act. Now, this is one question which is repeatedly wrong answered by the students when it comes to MCQ, because under the Customs Tariff Act, Section 3, subsection 7, subsection 9 talk about IGST. Are you following what I'm saying? But those sections also refer Section 5 of IGST Act. So question says IGST chargeable under the Customs Tariff Act or under the Customs Act or under the IGST Act or under the CGST Act, under which law?
IGST Act.
Okay, now this is a common mistake. Common mistake. Everybody says it is chargeable under the Customs Tariff Act, Section 3, subsection 7. We give that option very specifically to confuse. Okay, so IGST cannot be charged under Customs Tariff Act. The reason is it can be charged only by virtue of Section 5 of the IGST Act. Clear? Now, here again. Provided that the IGST on the imported goods in India shall be levied and collected in accordance with the provision of Section 3 of the Customs Tariff Act on the value determined under the said Act at the point when the duties of the customs are levied on the said goods under Section 12 of the Customs Act. On import, valuation changes. If it is a domestic transaction, the valuation will be done as per Section 15 of the CGST Act. But for charging and levy of IGST on import, valuation under Section 14 of the Customs Act has to be taken. Right? Why it's where it is mentioned Section 14? This is provided that IGST on imported goods shall be levied and collected in accordance with the provision of Section 3 of the Customs Tariff Act. And Section 3 talks about valuation as per Section 14 of the Customs Act. Right? On the value determined under the said Act. So there is a difference of value for the purpose of levy of IGST. Right? Should we make a small chart for this? So this is value for charging IGST. This is section 5 subsection 1 of IGST Act. Divide this in two parts. This is domestic transaction Can I write international transaction? Or no?
Only on imports.
Export is zero rated. Right? IGST is chargeable only on import, not on export. So the question of valuation on export does not arise. Okay. So this is only on import. So this is as per section 15 of the which law?
CGST.
CGST. CGST.
More the participation, more the learning. Okay. Participant does not mean that you unmute and speak to me. It can also be answer to yourself. That is also good enough. But that keeps you engaged, continuous participation that improves your learning. Clear? Okay. So when I'm asking a question, if the answer is not known, please refer the material, find the answer, and that will be remembered for the long time. Okay. And number 2, do not hesitate while if you think that answer may be wrong. We all are here for learning. Had we been perfect, we wouldn't have been here. So do not hesitate answering wrong. Okay. On import, how the valuation is to be done? This is as per the Customs Tariff Act. And Customs Tariff Act doesn't talk about value. Customs Tariff Act gives a reference of section 14 of the Customs Act 1962. Is this clear? Had it not been there, what would have been the impact? Think of that.
But if there would be no value, then how could we charge tax?
No, the problem would have been in that situation only this provision,
Yes.
right? And customs officers may not be aware of this valuation of the CGST. For charging their custom duty in the name of IGST, they will have to do the two valuations. One is as per Customs Act, another as per CGST.
Yes.
Isn't it? So lots of problem would have been there. So this has made it clear that when it is chargeable under section 3 of the Customs Tariff Act, that valuation don't come here. So if it is domestic transaction, valuation as per the CGST. When it is an international transaction of import, then valuation as per Customs Act. And where the valuation is given under the Customs Act? That is
Section 14.
Section 14 of the
The Customs.
Customs Act. Okay, is this clear? Now, subsection 2, no change. It is exactly same what is you have read in section 9. Just read by yourself. I need not give you any explanation. The integrated tax on the supply of petroleum, crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, natural gas and aviation turbine fuel shall be levied with effect from such date as may be notified by the government on the recommendation of the council. No change, same section. Right? So either you are reading section 9 subsection 2 or you are reading section 5 subsection 2. These are same. Right? Now, this is RCM. The government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify category of supply of goods or services or both, the tax on which shall be paid on the reverse charge basis by the recipient of the goods or services or both, and all the provisions of the Act shall apply to such recipient as if he is the person liable to pay tax in relation to the supply of such goods and services or both. Exactly same provision. Right? Now, what is the difference in subsection 3 and 4? In subsection 3, specified goods and services, always reverse charge is applicable. In subsection 4, again, the concept is specified supplies, but supplier is unregistered and recipient is registered. Okay, so this is very, very subjective case, subsection 4. So it says the government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify a class of the registered person who shall, in respect of supply of specified category of goods or services, both received from unregistered supplier, pay the tax on reverse charge basis as the recipient of such supply of goods or services or both, and all provision the Act shall apply to such recipient as if he is the person liable for paying the tax in relation to such goods or services or both. All right, exactly same, no change. Same as subsection 5 also. So this is the government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify category of the services, the goods on the interstate supply which shall be paid by the electronic commerce operator, if such services are supplied through it, and all the provisions this Act shall apply to such electronic commerce operator as if he is the supplier liable for paying the tax in relation to supply of this. So who's responsible? These are certain specified supplies, right? Very specific supplies which are covered under subsection 5.
Sir, where is it specified?
Where? Which?
These services?
There are notifications for that purpose.
Okay.
Do you want that detail?
Yes, sir, I want it.
Okay, tomorrow I'll share it on, I'll send it to all.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Section 9.5 and section 5.5, those will remain same. Okay. Now see, very specifically, the government may, on recommendation of council by notification, specify category of services. It doesn't talk about goods. Okay. The tax on interstate supply which shall be paid by the electronic commerce operator as if such services are supplied through it. So this is only about services, right? This is only about goods. Sorry, this is about services are also covered here. Okay, here also we have goods or services both. So this subsection 5 is exclusively in relation to services. So e-commerce operator cannot be held liable in any circumstances of paying the GST on the goods supplied to the e-commerce operator, because he is only providing a platform. So goods cannot be his responsibility. Services, there is a specific reason. I had given you explanation while discussing GST in the past, why they are being held liable. Okay. So this is section 5 of IGST. Now, before I go to section 6, I'll discuss section 11 of the CGST. So what was there in section 11 of the CGST Act? Section 11 of CGST Act. This is
Power exemptions.
power of whom?
Central government.
Power of central government to allow exemptions right? And these exemptions may be in two situations. One is for general public. Another is specific. Exemption for general public, this is by notification, and this is by order. Remember that? This may be partial or full. This is full, right? Broadly speaking. And then addition of a clarification. Addition of a clarification in the notification or order. By central government within how many years?
1 year.
Hmm?
1 year.
1 year or 3 years?
1 year of such
So 1
notification.
year. 1 year.
1 year.
Correct. This is 1 year. Okay. In any case, what I have written that already indicates it is 1, isn't it? Otherwise, it would have been S. Okay. So sometimes the language of the question suggests an answer also. Now, based on this information, we are going on section 6 of IGST. So here we have section 6. What this says, where the government is satisfied that it is necessary in the public interest so as to do, it may, on the recommendation of council by notification, exempt generally or either absolutely or subject to conditions that may be specified goods or services or both are specified from the whole or any part of the tax levied thereon with effect from such a date as may be specified in the notification. And subsection 2 says, where the government is satisfied it is necessary in the public interest so to do, it may, on the recommendation of council by special order in each case, under the circumstances of exceptional nature to be stated in the order, exempt from payment of the goods or services or both of any taxes levied. Now, what is the difference in subsection 1 and 2? Here we don't have concept of partial and full. It is always full. In subsection 1, one more point you can add, it may be conditional, unconditional, and here it is always unconditional. Okay, so what more we can add here in this side? This may be conditional or
Unconditional.
unconditional. All right, And this is bound to be unconditional. The section is not authorizing the government to put the condition as it is specifically mentioned in subsection 1. So either government will allow under subsection 2 or it will not allow. But if allowed, it is bound to be full and it is bound to be unconditional. When it is allowed under subsection 1, it may be conditional, it may be unconditional, it may be partial, it may be full, but not under subsection 2. So under subsection 2, read it again. Where the government is satisfied that it is necessary in the public interest so to do, it may, on the recommendation of the council by the special order in each case, under circumstances of the exceptional nature to be stated in such order, exempt from payment of tax any goods or service of both or any tax on which the tax is leviable. Now, is there any requirement of giving exemption if the goods are already zero rated? Can any exemption be allowed if the goods are already zero rated? Or can any exemption be given if the goods are not taxable? Exemption comes only if there is a liability to pay the tax. So where the liability itself does not exist, the question of exemption does not arise. Isn't it? So where goods are already exempt or goods are not subject to GST, then there cannot be any question of exemption on those. Right? So for giving the exemption, first thing is that there must be taxable. Then subsection 3, what it talks about? Insert an explanation. Right? So how many explanations are being inserted? Only one. Right? So whether this power of the government to include the insertion or this explanation, whether this is related to notification or order?
Notification.
Read it carefully. Answer is already in front of you. Subsection 3, read it.
Notification or order.
Exactly. So this is for both. Now, what is the interesting thing is, under subsection 3, the government is having a right to include only one explanation in the notification or order, but this addition is only by way of notification. This addition is only by way of notification. This addition in the order cannot be made by another order. पढ़ा आपने ठीक से? By notification at any time within 1 year of issue of notification under subsection 1 or order under subsection 2. So what is the mode of inserting the explanation?
Via notification.
Only by way of notification. Okay. And when the notification can be issued?
Within 1 year of the passing of order or notification.
Within 1 year. Right? This is issue of notification. Issue or publication, which comes first?
Issue.
Earlier also I have answered this question. Issue always comes first and publication will come later. Issue means the moment it is signed by the competent authority. Okay, now read the whole thing in one go. The government may, if it considers necessary or expedient so to do for the purpose of clarifying the scope of applicability of the notification issued under subsection 1 or order under subsection 2. What is the purpose? Explanation, nothing else. It is not an amendment. So by reading this, can you interpret the government cannot amend the notification or order?
Sir, it can amend by issuing another notification. No?
Right. So I'm just revising it for again. So government can amend that, but for amending another notification is required under subsection 3. It cannot touch the language of the notification order already issued. It can only, what it can do?
Issue another notification.
Insert. Not an amendment. So what is being done? One explanation is being inserted without altering the original language of the notification or order. And what will be the impact of this explanation? As if it was a part of original notification or order. Okay. And now read this. And such explanation shall have effect as if it had always been the part of first such a notification order, as the case may. First means original. So this explanation is going to have retrospective effect. How long? This will be considered as a part of original notification order since the beginning.
And sir, by any chance, if another explanation is required to,
Issue another notification.
okay, because
The
second
complete
explanation
explanation.
is not possible.
No, because this has very, very specific insert an explanation. And this power is also exercisable within 1 year only. If the government realizes on 366th day, they cannot do anything except issuing another notification. Okay. So this is section 6. Now coming to section 7, this talks about interstate supply. Concept is very, very simple. The location of the supplier and location of recipient happen to be in two different states or two different union territories or a state and union territory. What it says, subject to provisions of section 10. Supply of goods where the location of supplier or are in two different states or two different or the two union territories shall be treated as goods in the course of interstate trade or commerce. So what is important is we're talking about location of the supplier and place of supply. Very, very different things. Location of supplier and place of supply. Just understand. Imagine that I have my office in Pune and I need a supply of goods from a supplier in Surat. Supplier is in Surat. And I need the goods in Ahmedabad. I am based in Mumbai. What will be the place of supply?
Surat.
That is certainly Ahmedabad because that is the place where the goods are actually delivered.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right. Now, location of supplier, again, is in this itself, I am changing. His office happens to be in Surat, but he is also having branch in Ahmedabad and the goods are supplied from Ahmedabad. Then what happens?
But then location is Ahmedabad.
Location is Ahmedabad and place of supply also becomes
Ahmedabad.
So nowhere it is said the place of business of the supplier and place of business of the recipient. Common mistake committed by many people. We're not talking about the place of business. Right. The wordings are location of the supplier and place of supply. These are very specific wordings. Location of supplier and place of supply. Okay. So this file, bolo.
Sir, if a supplier is there in Calcutta, right? And if any recipient comes to Calcutta and if any recipient comes to Kolkata and takes the supply here only, then it
Hmm.
will be treated as intrastate supply because that will be within the state,
That is
irrespective of the
interstate.
fact whether the recipient
That is certainly
interstate.
interstate supply. When you go to any mall, suppose you are traveling to Mumbai and you do the shopping in Mumbai,
Yes, sir.
right? What kind of
Hmm.
supply it is for the seller in the mall? Interstate or intrastate?
Intrastate.
What is
Intrastate.
what is the place of supply?
Place of supply is where the mall is located.
Exactly. So it will be intrastate, right? Now, where the transactions are in the course or furtherance of business for the buyer also, then he is going to indicate that the billing should be done as if the address is Kolkata. So that he will be charging IGST and it will be treated as interstate supply. So what is the loss if you are entitled to avail the GST credit and you take the invoice in the Mumbai, which is on which CGST has been charged? What is your loss?
GST amount.
Yes, the credit will not be available for the SGST. But if it is IGST, you can get the credit for the whole amount.
But sir, I have a question here.
Hmm.
In a scenario which happens in customs very, very often,
Hmm.
where suppose there is a customs agent who has been appointed in Bombay,
Hmm.
but he has also been appointed in Chennai.
Hmm.
Okay. In that scenario, he is the Chennai agent is not directly billing it to the party.
Hmm.
The Bombay agent is billing it to the party.
Hmm.
But the party also has an office in Chennai.
Hmm.
And all these airport authorities and all these shipping line charges are charged to the local party GST number.
Hmm.
Correct? In
Hmm.
that scenario, and when the Bombay agent receives the bill, which he has to charge to the party who is in Delhi,
Hmm.
in that scenario, how will the party claim credit on the Delhi account? Because the bills will be issued to the Delhi office, right?
Hmm.
And not to Chennai office.
Hmm.
Though the billing is done to party's Chennai office.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So Delhi will not be able to take credit because the bills will be in form of CGST and SGST
Right.
and not IGST.
Correct. There is a
So
practical problem.
that is a very practical problem because I'm facing that problem. That's the reason I'm asking this. So that means the party loses the credit of GST on that.
So we'll try to find a reason or good practical answer for this.
Hmm.
What should be done so that they can claim the full credit?
Hmm.
Right? How much amount is normally involved in this?
Sir, on an average per shipment, we're talking of 8 to 10,000 rupees.
That much credit is being lost.
Hmm.
Hmm? And how many shipments are normally involved in a year?
In a month, you can say 12 to 15.
12 to 15. So roughly 1.5 lakh rupees every month.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll give them a solution. What to do?
Okay.
Okay. So this is one case where we talk about what is the meaning of interstate supply. Okay. Now supply of goods are imported into the territory of India. What are you talking about? Supply of goods imported into territory of India. Right? It is only talking about imported. It is not saying imported or exported. Okay. Till cross the custom frontiers of India. Means till those are cleared by the customs for home consumption. Shall be treated in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Now, once goods are cleared for home consumption by the customs, up to that point of time, that is treated as a interstate supply. Now, as a importer, you are based in Mumbai. Your consignment is received in Mumbai. You have to pay IGST on that. Avail full credit of IGST, and second day you are selling the same consignment to a buyer in Mumbai. then that will be intrastate supply. That will be intrastate supply. Why? Because answer is here. Okay. And if you want to avoid that kind of transaction, what is to be done? Before goods are removed for home consumption, let the title be transferred to the buyer. So he directly pays IGST and avails a credit. Okay. But that depends upon if you are making some profit out of that in the trading activity or some other thing. That is a different story. But otherwise, if there is no question of making any profit on the trading activity, you can directly transfer the document of the imported goods itself. So you don't end up paying the IGST, availing the credit, then transferring it to him. That can be avoided. Now, this further is subject to the provision of section 12, supply of services where the location of the supplier are in two different states. So what is the difference here? This is only about the supply or supply of services. Subsection 1 and 2 is about the goods. This is about the goods. This is also about the goods. Subsection 3 is about services. Subsection 4 is also about services. That is the only difference. So subsection 1 and subsection 2, those are about the goods, and subsection 3 and 4 are regarding the services. Okay. So here we can make a chart of this. Section 7. This is intrastate supply. This is for goods, and here we have services. Subsection 1, subsection 2. In this we can say two states or union territories or one state and one union territory. This is import until goods are cleared for home consumption. Okay. For services, we have subsection 3 and subsection 4. This is same here. The location of supplier and the place of supply happens to be in two different states or two union territories or one state and another union territory. And in subsection 4, it is one supplier is abroad and recipient happens to be in India. See here, subsection 4. Supply service imported territory shall be treated as a supply service in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Okay. So in this case, even that explanation is also not given that supplier is abroad and recipient happens to be in India. This simply says imported. Imported means only that. Okay. Subsection 5, what does it say? Supply of goods or services or both. When the supplier is located in India and the place of supply is outside India. When the supplier is in India and the place of supply is outside India, or to a special economic zone developer, SEZ, etc., or in the taxable territory, not being the intrastate supply not covered elsewhere, shall be treated as supply of goods or services both in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Right. So in a nutshell, this is saying this will become applicable mainly for SEZ area, because that will be, this is also referred as an interstate supply, but effectively these are treated as zero rated when it comes to export. Because it is talking about supply service of both. When the supplier is located in India and the place of supply is outside India, that is export. Similarly, to a special economic zone developer or SEZ unit that is also deemed export, that is zero rated supply, or in the taxable territory not being interstate supply. So all these situations become zero rated supply. Though those are referred as interstate, but actually those are zero rated. Now, what is intrastate? When everything is within the same state or same union territory. So subject to the provisions of section 10, supply of goods where the location of the supply and the place of supply of goods are in the same state. What is this? Location of the supplier and place of supply of goods are in the same state. Except in these situations, because these are the cases of a zero rated supply or deemed export. So this says supply to SEZ unit or the developer SEZ, or this is goods imported into, and this is supply to under section 15. So under section 15, if goods are sold to a non-resident while returning from India, he can claim the refund of the GST paid in India. Do we have that kind of facility in India as of today? Non-residents buying goods in Indian market while returning from India, they can get back the refund of GST.
Sir, at the airport.
I think they have to. Yes, possible.
मिल जाता है?
सर आता नहीं आता वो नहीं पता, but process है.
देखो बहुत सारी अच्छी कंट्रीज है जहां से रिफंड एक्चुअली आ जाता है. If you buy anything in Japan, okay, the refund comes to your account within 2 days.
सर सिंगापुर में भी सेम है, मतलब आ जाता है जल्दी.
Right? Even country like Thailand also does it. Small country. Anyway, right? So why it is excluded from the intrastate supply? Because the reason is the goods are being sold to a non-resident and when goods are being sent ultimately outside India. Okay. So this is what is relevant. So section 16, I'm going to explain you because section 16 by chance is not given here. I'm going to explain you section 16 here. So section 16, that talks about zero rated supply. Section 16. Zero rated supply. What is the meaning of zero rated supply? Tax on supply is nil. Supplier is entitled to avail ITC. This is a very special point. If you are the exporter, you buy the goods from market, either for export or for carrying on some further process for export. You are eligible to avail input tax credit, but you are not liable to pay tax on your outward supplies. The basic principle of input tax credit fails. Basic principle of input tax credit fails. Why? Because when I spoke to you about section 16 and 17 of the CGST, I told you that who can avail the credit only when he is liable to pay tax on the outward supplies. In this case, the supply is zero rated. So when supply is zero, where is the question of input tax credit? And that is the special feature of section 16. So section 16 is saying that on outward supplies, the rate of tax is zero, still the supplier is entitled to avail the input tax credit. And when there is no tax on the outward supply, what to do with this amount?
So it will be
No tax.
Refunded, sir. Amount will be refunded.
Yes. So this amount if this input tax credit cannot be utilized by supplier, otherwise it is refundable in cash. So supplier will have to justify before claiming the refund why he cannot utilize it otherwise. If he's having some simultaneously domestic supplies also, he can utilize this credit. But where he cannot utilize, he can claim the refund of this amount in cash. Okay. So this is what is the advantage of zero rated supply. Now, what are zero rated supplies? Number one, export, actual export. I'm using the word actual. Number two, supply to a unit in SEZ for authorized operations. Authorized operation means for the purpose for which letter of intent has been issued to the unit in SEZ. Right. So if he's into manufacturing, so before manufacture, during manufacture, post manufacturing, all these things, if those are connected, that is the part of authorized operations. If the person or unit in SEZ is buying something for the personal use of some employee, then this benefit will not be there. Number three, supply to SEZ developer for authorized operations. So these two are deemed exports. That's why I have written the word actual here. When you read section 16, you will not find the word actual and as well as the word deemed. What you will find is this, this, and this. These are called zero rated supply. Everything clear? So friend, this is what the IGST is for the purpose of your exam. Otherwise, IGST is much more, but for your purpose, this much IGST should be enough. So this also brings us to the end of GST portion.